For me, I mean, I always struggled because I felt like I didn't have much of a testimony. Like a lot of grew up in the church people. And I was always like, oh, they have like the story. I just like, my dad walked on the beach with me and told me about Jesus. Very exciting. You know, like, what's fascinating to me is like, you would remember when we did that whole testimony series.
Yeah.
Like, helping people share their testimonies has been like a theme in my life. From that event we did with college ministry to like I taught a testimony in a speaking class at my parents' church in the Philippines. I taught testimony class at Impact, like our church's discipleship school. And on the podcast that I host, I get people's testimonies. So I've been fascinated by it because, you know, my translation of what testimony was as a kid, where I felt left out, was like the moment you come to know God. If you just think about, the word comes from court of law, and it's like an eyewitness testimony that provides evidence of the existence of some reality, right? So if you're giving your testimony, it's supposed to prove something happened or didn't happen from your point of view. So your testimony, again, it could be about you getting saved, but I have numerous testimonies about all sorts of things, because I have things that happened in my life that proved the evidence of God's graciousness or his forgiveness or his compassion, or I grasped these different aspects of God. So for me, my faith journey has been interesting because although when I was younger, I was like, man, I never got that like night to day,
out of the valley,
you
God
know,
met
like
me
death to life experience. But the reality is that when you're interacting with an infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful God, like the depth of the relationship has no end. So I've had experiences where my life has changed as much as someone might refer to their coming to know Jesus moment. That's happened again and then again and then again and then again. And there's always, you know, it's just a matter of time before I have another depth and revelation of what it means to be a Christian, and my whole life changes again. And so for me, I feel like it's sad that for a lot of my life, I thought my testimony was just the walk on the beach with my dad. Like, not very exciting, but I have all sorts of stories that are very exciting about ways God has taken hold of my life. And I think it's rooted into our culture that a lot of people see Christianity and faith as a decision that they made. But if you look at the Bible, it's take up your cross daily. It's a living sacrifice. It's an ongoing, any relationship. I can't just have decided to meet you in 2016 and then for the rest of my life be like, I know Jared. Right? Like, that wouldn't work with any relationship. And yet so many people look at their faith as like, oh, I had this experience this one time at church, and I went to the front and they prayed over me, and now I'm a Christian. It's like, no, like Christianity is like changes everything about you, your way of life, who you are. And so
how you think, what you prioritize.
And it's an ongoing, like, as I'm going to premarital counseling, the counselor talks about getting your PhD in your partner or your wife or your spouse, right? And I'm like, I like that. That's my job. I'm getting my PhD in Rachel. I'm not, you know, it's like even things I'm learning. And there's times that it's like, oh, this is, you know, like things will happen or there'll be conflict or disagreement. And most people who've been in a relationship, and I'm sure in your marriage, Ryan, it's like once you understand their point of view, you have compassion, empathy, and you understand where they're coming from. Most of the misunderstanding, the drama is like you don't actually understand. So I think that advice to get your PhD in your spouse is like, okay, I don't really get them right now, but if I actually studied to understand this person, that would solve a lot of my random marital conflicts.
But at the same time, like, I'm sure there are things that you still don't understand and might never not fully understand, which I think I've heard
About God or my wife?
both.
Yes.
Both. I was going to connect it to our relationship with God too, because like, you know, like,
Absolutely.
yeah, like we will continue to put in the work to get to know our partners, and we must always do so, but we will never fully, completely, 100% know that person because we're not them. So,
And they're also growing, changing, and just
Yeah,
gonna
Tim
be
Keller
different.
says that my wife married 5 different men and they are all me.
I'm literally reading that book right now.
Yeah.
And I just read that part.
But again, it's like some people approach their spirituality as if I decided one day to give vows and get married to this person.
and that's it.
And I don't have to do anything else the rest of my life. That's my wife. And again, it's like when you treat a marriage relationship like a real relationship and you look at problems as just things to overcome and things to learn about the person, then it actually gives a lot of hope and freedom and joy because you're not like, oh no, did I marry the wrong person? Did I make the wrong decision? No, it's like you have something to work through with this person. Anyone you marry, you're going to have that with. And so similarly with God, it's like, it's just an ongoing, growing relationship.